One moment of humanity. This is Space 1999, season 2, the dreaded season 2. I haven't been hating it as much as some, though I haven't really been dying over it either. Let's talk about this particular episode. This is a weak episode, in my opinion. This is probably till date the weakest episode of all of Space 1999. However, my score is not gonna be that high. It's not gonna be that low, but it's gonna be weird because the story, I'm gonna give it a 1.5 out of 2. So a 1 means it was okay, a 2 means it was amazing. This was approaching amazing, and I'll tell you why. This android woman, you don't know she's an android, this alien woman, vegan or something, or I don't know if they're vegans, whatever they're called. They show up, she shows up to the moon base, puts everyone in sort of a trance or whatever, and then she selects Dr. Russell and Tony and transports them back to their planet, ship, whatever. And basically it's an experiment. They're trying to view the way humanity behaves and all of that, and they're trying to evoke emotions, particularly negative emotions. They have these androids who are their servants. Turns out it's been flipped. The servants are actually human beings, and the people who you thought were aliens are actually androids. And what's happening is that the androids have determined that humanity's bad. You know, this is the typical android thing. Eventually they're going to discover that we're bad or useless or whatever. But they actually don't know how to kill because they've never had that ability before. They can't really show aggression or whatever. So they're just sort of in this stasis where it's like they can't really kill the humans. So they don't know what to do. So they need to learn how to do it. And the way that they do that is by taking Dr. Russell and Tony and subjecting them to different experiments and different emotional states to try to get them to commit violence so that they can learn how to do it. Really damn good idea. And why am I not even giving this a 2 out of 2 is that I feel that, again, this is now going to, I can see where this is going with this show. There's going to be a great concept, as there always was. There's going to be a very solid 20 minutes, or whatever, 25 minutes of good quality science fiction. And there's going to be a lot of rubbish surrounding it. So rubbish includes like, oh, we have to make Koenig jealous, so let's have the guy try to seduce her with this weird thing. It's like, well, why is Helena being seduced? I don't get it. They're trying to make this more appealing to the general audience, which I don't think that they found, because if they did, there'd be a season 3 and it'd be more like season 2, and it didn't happen. So I don't think that this magical audience appeared. This is a mistake of many science fiction and horror and westerns and whatever, pick your musicals. You're not getting new people, right? Like there's no one out there saying, I really want to get into westerns. Either they've gotten into westerns or not. Now there might be a gateway movie. You watch some movie, you're like, wow, that was really good, and then maybe you get into some westerns or something. But maybe not. Sci-fi and horror. Those are the two most difficult ones to really sell. They have their hardcore fans and they never leave. I loved horror and sci-fi from day one. I'm never leaving it, right? My cousin, for example, she's not into science fiction. She likes horror, but not science fiction. You cannot get it. You can't. Oh, this is going to be a bit different. Nah, she doesn't like it. She doesn't like fantasy, Lord of the Rings. You just can't get her to like it. Anyways, so all you did was alienate your kind of the fans that you already have. And this is from back then, never mind what's going on in today's Hollywood landscape. But anyways, on to the review. I'm going to give the pacing a 1. I was going to give it 0.5 because I started to get bored a little bit, but not really enough to ding it. So I'm going to give it a 1, which means it was okay. The pacing was okay. Definitely could have been faster. They could have introduced another element. I wanted to see more of what the humans were doing, not just the androids testing them, but like I want to see what the other humans were doing. Were they trying to help? Because there's this whole thing where there's this master control program, master control computer, MCC, not MCP. And they have to take it down. And if you can eliminate one android, they're all connected, they'll all shut down. But there's a barrier, a force field. The really cool part, I'll talk about the characters, is with Maya, which I'll save for a minute. But except for that kind of part in the beginning. I was kind of like, eh. So I'll give it a 1 for pacing. Artistry, I'm going to give it a 1.5 for artistry, and that's because everything looked good. Again, it's just the set or whatever, but it actually looked really cool to me. I can't give it a full score of 2 because there really wasn't any like space battling or anything like that. There's some episodes which look fantastic. This one looked pretty damn cool, but it didn't break that barrier into the wow, this is like so awesome. It just like looked really good to me. But anyways, I'm watching this on Blu-ray. I want to know because it looks much better on Blu-ray. The characters, we're gonna have to give it a 1 here. Tony is still a bit bland for me. I haven't warmed up to him yet. I don't hate the character. I think he's fine. I'm just not like super excited for that character. I like Dr. Russell, but she feels a little bit wrong in these. Like she's wearing this really kind of dress, which is a bit revealing on the side, and you're like, why is this happening? I'm not saying she's ugly or anything. I'm like, not at all, but it doesn't fit this character. Like, I don't understand why that. I mean, it was there. They're going to some party. Again, it's like weirdness. It's like, oh, we're going to a party and we're getting all dolled up. It's like, and that's fine. But like, what does this have to do with anything? Like, I guess they're trying to make them more relatable, but it's not. It's alienating me because Dr. Russell was the I'm down to business lady. I've got to do my job. That's how I see her. Now they've kind of messed with her a little bit, so I don't like that. Maya does a cool thing. So there's this barrier, but there's a little bit of a gap. There's actually like a force field wall. It's not just an energy field. It actually has like a physical thing too. So she just turns into a little roach and like goes underneath it. So I thought that was kind of neat. That was useful. But yeah, characters were okay. Enjoyment factor, I'll give it a 1. It was all right. I don't love it. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. That's actually slightly high for this one. This probably should really be a 5. I'm giving it the extra point from a 5 to a 6 because they did have a really cool concept. So that's more than any of the recent Star Trek shows. Not that I've really watched them. So I apologize if you found one episode of one of these garbage shows and thought it was okay. Anyways, so 6 out of 10. It was an all right. It's definitely the weakest so far for me for Space 1999 in general. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Check out the playlist. Hit the like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.